them out, meaning bailing them out or buying it. I think we just buy it. We'd be getting it virtually debt-free. They have some good aircraft, they have good assets, and when the price of oil goes down, we'll sell it for a profit. I'd love to be able to save those jobs. I'd love to be able to save an airline. I like having a lot of airlines, so it's competitive. So we are looking at Spirit. It's in a bankruptcy. It's in bankruptcy court, and we're looking if we could get it for the right price. I'd do it to save the jobs, and we have somebody that wants to run it, do a good job, smart person. And if they run it properly, and if prices come down, all of a sudden it's a valuable asset.
Mr. President,
And they have some very good slots too, which are pretty valuable.
House has announced that they're going to be closing up to 62 stores. Smoky Bones Barbecue has said that they're going to close 120 plus stores. Domino's Pizza said that they're closing 250 plus stores and they're filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Papa John's is closing over 300 locations. Popeye's Chicken is closing 136 locations and they are also filing for bankruptcy. Red Lobster is closing over 100 locations. Red Robin is closing 70 plus locations. Denny's is closing over 150 locations. Pizza Hut is closing over 250 locations. And Wendy's said that they're going to close a maximum of 600 locations. We're talking over 1,000 locations of fast food restaurants and food chains that are getting ready to close their doors. And you think this country is not in trouble?
All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rekakwadash. Giving double honors to the apostles and elders of the great millstone. Shalom to the hopefully elect. Shalom to all the brothers out here laboring in this truth with sincerity. Shalom to the few sisters that watch. It's coming back with another lesson. Keeping a watchful eye, filtering these things through the scriptures, because, what, the politicians tell you, the news tell you, publicly, they only give you half of the story, and the prophets were set up to give you the full story as it pertains to the scriptures and what's to come. We were instructed to watch, stand upon thy watch. So that's what we're doing. So we just seen Spirit closed completely. And now we have another airline that's holding on by a thread. It says JetBlue's debt could reach $9 billion this year, and United isn't interested in it, founder says. But this is just another key sign that Babylon the Great is falling. You have thousands of restaurants, fast food chains closing this year, and we're going to read an article on that also. So this was brought 2 weeks ago. I just saw something else about it yesterday, but it says JetBlue Airways is under renewed economic scrutiny after its founder warned that the carrier's debt could climb towards $9 billion in 2026. So how is it possible to get out of that hole? It's not. It says raising concerns about its stability. And I seen something where it says they haven't even made a profit in like 5 years or something like that. Yeah. I don't know if it was this article, but I did see that. So this is another airline that's on its way out. This man's kingdom is crumbling, man. And the majority of people can't see it. I still see people and hear people talking about taking flights, going on vacation, doing this, doing that, not watching and being vigilant, man. I guess you can get it in while you can, But these people, the way they think and their attention is on the wrong things, man. You know, you should be preparing yourself for what's to come. And the only way to do that is through the scriptures, man. You know, repenting and and converting yourself, turning back to Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Because that's going to be your only way. Matter of fact, let's go to the book of Isaiah 33. This is going to be your only way to get out of this, man. This is the book of Isaiah chapter 33 and verse 6. It says, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. So this is the only way you're going to make it. You know, your money can't deliver you. Your money can only take you so far. You know, your body can only take you so far. If you don't have Yahweh Shem Yahushua, you're not going to make it. You know, we see this system crumbling. Everything is crumbling around us, man. You know, and the citizens of Babylon the Great are going to suffer. So what are you going to do in that time of suffering? How are you going to make it in that time of suffering? Who are you going to rely on in that time of suffering? You're not going to be able to rely on your government. You're not going to be able to rely on your so-called friends and family. You're not going to be able to rely on your job if you have one. So these are the times that we coming up upon, man. You know, prices are rising, gas prices, food prices, housing, taxes, everything is rising. But your pay, you know, which is going to cause a collapse, man. No one is going to be able to keep up with these prices. You know, your job making cuts, jobs cutting extra hours, overtime, cutting all that, man. You know, they got AI monitoring your purchases. You know, every purchase you make is pretty much connected now. You know, everything you buy is being tracked. So let's see. Let's go to this article. You know, not a particular article, but I just Googled it. Thousands of restaurants to close in 2026. It says thousands of U.S. restaurants are set to close in 2026, driven by high inflation, rising labor costs, and a shift towards dining at home. You know, because the quality, first and foremost, of this food is garbage. Your customer service is garbage, and it's overpriced, and it's not consistent. You know, if you buying this stuff, man, you know, but it says major chains like Wendy's, 300 to 350 stores are closing. Good. Papa John, 300 stores. Good. All that is disgusting. Pizza Hut, 250 stores. Good. You know, you ride by the Pizza Hut in my area, man. It looked like a deserted. It already looked condemned. You know, and then you got any and everybody working, which is, you know, these people are not sanitary these days. You go in, you look, everybody on their phone, you touching your nasty phone while you're dealing with people, food, you know. So why eat out anyway, man? It's best to eat at your house. Best to buy your own food. Even though our food is defiled, you know, it's best to prep your own food at home versus going to these restaurants, not knowing who's cooking, who's handling your food, did they drop it on the floor? You don't know none of this stuff, man. And people these days have no integrity, man. You know, so it's best to just eat at home, man. It says a reducing of their footprints, with industry analysts suggesting that up to 15% of restaurants could be at risk. And we can see that. I don't know about other brothers' areas, But in my area, it's like several restaurants that has closed down within the last couple months. And these restaurants been around since I've been in the area, which is over 10 years. But this is a clear sign, a clear indication of the fall of Babylon. It may seem small right now, but this is what's to come, man. These places have been thriving for 20, 30 years, man. And when you're speaking of Wendy's and stuff like that, man, we talking about over probably 50 years. Pizza Hut been around forever. So it says key restaurant closures and trends of 2026 include fast food and casual dining, like your sit-down restaurants to casual dining, which is played out, man. You could spend what you spend in one night at a restaurant, go buy you some groceries or whatever, man, and you can eat off that for at least 2 days, versus eating it in 1 hour. You can feed your whole family for 2 days off what you're paying in a restaurant right now. So it says, in addition to Wendy's, Jack in the Box, which, that's mostly on the West Coast. Back in the day, I used to live in Jack in the Box back in the day, man. When I was in San Diego. But it says expects to close 150 to 200 locations, while Noodles and Company plan to shutter 30 to 35 underperforming units. Major brand reduction. Hooters, and Hooters by me just closed down. Shut the doors, man. After they remodeled, they just remodeled, trying to rebrand or whatever. And hey, the doors are shut. It said, okay, Hooters has drastically reduced its footprints to under 24 locations, man, from 140. And Hardee's closed at least 77 locations in early 2026. And, these restaurants are playing out, man. Like Hardee's, that's something that was thriving when I was a child, and I'm over 40. So, the time is up. Says financial pressure. Smokey Bones file for bankruptcy, and Red Robin is closing locations to cut costs. Regional trends. Torchy's Tacos and the Cheesecake Factory are also closing select locations. You got to understand, man, these places have been thriving for years. And now all of a sudden you think, these places don't want to close their doors. They should want to expand. But they're forced to close because nobody's spending money like that, man. And if people are spending money, you better believe it's a so-called black woman, man. She can't get out of that mindset of I got to do. Which is, it's going to hurt them in the end, man. You still run across these women that want to splurge and go to the mall and do this and do that, man. Not paying attention. The so-called black woman is going to suffer more than any other gender or race of people during Jacob's trouble. You better believe that. Because they can't get it out of their mind that they're above all. Everything revolves around them. I'm high and mighty, but Yahweh Shem Yahushua is gonna throw them down, man. In swift fashion. So let's go to the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2. Because this is what we're doing. We're warning the people, man. We're showing you the things to come. We are showing you the things to come. Yes, this is happening in the present right now, but you have to look forward, man. And that's prophecy. Like the bishop was going into at last week's camp. A prophet by what he's saying, and has it came to pass, or is it coming to pass as we speak? And right now, these things are coming to pass. So you have to look at this, man. None of America is not going to recover, man. This is the bottom line. So this is the book of Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 1. It says, I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and I will watch to see what he says unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. Verse 2, and the Lord Yahweh answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. You know, and that's what we're making this plain, making everything plain upon tables. Let's see. Plain. Let's just make it plain. So making it plain, distinct, make it clear, to declare letters on the tablet. You know, so we're reading the scriptures and we're making it clear of what's to come, man. Making it clear. Figuratively, it says to explain, declare. You know, we're explaining the things that the Lord has put in the scriptures, breaking it down, you know, to the point where anybody can understand it. You know, brothers can get on any level. You know, hey, you know, the apostles, hey, they can go to any so-called prestigious university, man, and really shut them down. You know, that's the level that they're on. That's the understanding that the Lord has imparted them with. You know, and you got other brothers that can do that, man. You know, bishops, elders, they can do it also, man. But, you know, hey, we're working to reach that level, you know, with the increase of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, that the increase of that Yahweh Shem Yahushua gives us. But as is that being said, man, you know, we're able to speak to anybody, man. It don't matter, you know, and that's what the apostles and elders instruct us to do. You know, be vigilant, be vigilant, you know. So, let's see, where am I at? Salaki. It says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Yeah. And what we're telling you is going to speak. You know, the words of the Lord will not return unto him void. You know, what he says, it's going to come to pass, man. It says, and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. So, you know, it may seem like these things are happening slowly, but in reality, to the prophets, to the men of the Lord, things are happening so rapidly, man. You know, within this past year, man, look what all happened. We just in May, you got Spirit closed down out of nowhere. You know, they just start talking about it. It closed down. You got the Strait of Hormuz closed, you know, which they brought news out today about it, that two ships passed. You know, why that's breaking news, I don't know. But now you got, you know, restaurant closures, JetBlue. So the best thing you could do is prepare yourself, man. You know, not, you know, yes, on a physical level, you know, that's very important, because you're going to be able to want to physically sustain what's coming, you know. You may not be able to eat, you know, you want to be in physical conditioning to the point where you might have to walk a long way. You may have to climb something, you know, you may be running from an animal. You may have to climb a tree. You never know, man. You know, so we want to be prepared physically and mentally, of course, but first and foremost, spiritually, man. Like the book of Isaiah chapter 33, verse 6, we just read. Wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. And where do you get this wisdom and knowledge? Of course, from the Holy Spirit. But the words written in the scriptures, man. You know, the Holy Spirit gives you the understanding. But, hey, man, you have to come back to Yahweh Shem Yahushua. You want to make it in the times to come. This is about to get real crucial out here, man. It's about to get real crucial out here. Let's see. Let's go to the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 9. It says, we'll start from the top. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. And that's what's going on, man. The Lord is plaguing the world. You know, we're just seeing what's going on in Babylon the Great. You know, we know the rest of the world is screwed up, but what level of screwed up is it on? You know, we don't know that, but we know it's screwed up. You know, if America is at the state that it's in, imagine some other country. You know, they've been struggling. You know, look at Cuba right now, man. Look at Cuba. It's a prime example, man. Those people are in hell right now. And America is headed in that same direction. America is trending in that same direction fast. So, you know, hey, man, moral of the story is get yourself together, man, spiritually, you know, because you're going to need Yahweh Shem Yahushua in that day. And we're speaking to the elect. 2/3, the ones that's out here worried about partying, drinking, being merry, we ain't talking to you. The ones that's planning your vacation for 5 years from now, we ain't talking to you. The ones that's trying to, move money around for your 401k, we ain't talking to you. The ones that are looking forward to retirement 10 years, 5 years from now, we not talking to you. You know, we're talking to the man. We're talking to the Salaki. Yeah, another call came in and stopped the video. But, you know, we're talking to the men, first and foremost, 144,000, you know, as well as the remnant, you know, to prepare themselves for what's to come. So, you know, with that being said, Lord willing is edifying. We want to constantly give our praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Shalom.